Dara, I just can't believe that Tracy savagely bludgeoned an Eagle Scout. That's so unlike her.
And welcome to the Swamp. The Swamp is an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And today we are honored, blessed, touched, and honored again to have a guest with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my twin sister Alyssa's here.
Hey, besties.
So we're so excited to have you, Alyssa, Emily's not identical twin. At home, if you're like just copying and pasting Emily, that's not the case. But we went in the discussion of doing a musical this month. Immediately, you were like, "I got to get on for Hairspray." So why Hairspray? What's the connection?
Yeah.
Where's the love?
Well, there's just no connection. It's just like a movie masterpiece. And like
Plain and simple.
Emily, she wanted me to come do Mamma Mia.
Well, I told everyone about our deep love for Mamma Mia, so I just assumed that you'd be on for that one, but you took a hard left.
Yeah, it's a big family thing, but I was like, I can't. Like, impossible. It has to be Hairspray. Because it's just, like, everyone universally loves Mamma Mia. I feel like Hairspray is, like, a niche thing. I'm part of, like, a Hairspray community of one.
I will say, I hadn't watched this movie in, like, kind of a long time, and watching it again, I fucking forgot how absolutely phenomenal this one is. Because when thinking about movie musicals, there's so many good ones to pick from. So when we were coming up with our lineup, I was like, okay, Alyssa, interesting choice, Hairspray. But then after my watch, I was like, no, I'm joining the Hairspray community, and it's of two now, because I'm so here for it. And
She
I
was
love
so right
Henry
for
watched
this.
it. Henry watched it with me, and I was like, oh, have you seen this before? And he was like, Dara, are you kidding? This is, like, one of the best movies ever made. And I was like, where is this coming from? Like, what the hell? But it was so good, and I'm really glad that you chose it, because it made me revisit such a great piece of art.
It's actually just us four in the Hairspray community.
Yeah.
You're not invited.
What?
You don't appreciate John Travolta enough.
I 100% do. Here's the thing, is that we were out and about today, and we went to a record store, and Dara, you saw this on my Instagram story. Alyssa bought a John Travolta record. It's like all of his hits, and I was like, well, first of all, I didn't realize he had hits.
I thought it was just Saturday Night Fever.
No,
no.
It said it was Travolta Fever, and it had his best hits. And the funny thing is, I saw one. It was like his first. I guess he had albums.
I don't know. I wasn't alive.
But it was his first one, and I was like, "Oh, genius! I need it." My mom was like, "That's impossible. You know nothing by him." I'm like, "Mom, this is the greatest person of all time. Like, what are you talking about?" And then I picked it up, and behind it was the greatest hits with a full-size John Travolta poster.
Hell yeah.
So I
It's every
paid
girl's
$10
dream.
for it.
Every girl's dream.
Every girl's dream.
And his camel toe is jarring. The crotchal region of John Travolta on that poster stared me down like a fucking Western standoff. It was just pointing itself directly at me.
Officer, I swear it looked at me first. But do you feel like your love for him was rekindled this week when we watched Hairspray? Because I think this is probably his best work to date.
I think it's anyone's best work.
Like the whole cast, like everyone peaked here.
Well, that, but like acting peaked when John Travolta played Edna Turnblad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like this is the greatest performance anyone has ever turned out in all of acting history.
Yeah, I can
honestly
confidently say yes.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think, like, John Travolta, like, any opinions you may have of him aside about his weird personal views or him as just I think he's just a pretty mediocre actor. I think he just happens to be in a lot of really great movies. But, like, him himself, he's never, like, really that great in anything. He fucking turned the fucking party in this movie. I swear to God. John Travolta, he believably was a middle-aged woman. Somebody who had never, like, an alien, somebody who had never wouldn't know, they would be like, that's a woman. That is legit. That is a woman, and just like an amazing actress. So good. And the fact that suit he put on every morning was like 45 pounds, and it took like 4 hours, like every morning or something like that. Yeah, and he dances.
Dude.
He
I've never seen anyone shake their hips better.
He was meant to play this role because
he was born to play it.
Dude, the way he moves with that ass, like no one else could have done it. Fact.
And I love this role is pretty like iconic because in the original movie, the John Waters movie that came out in '88, it was played by Divine, who is kind of like one of the OG drag like superstars. Like she kind of brought drag to like the forefront of pop culture and stuff. John Waters obviously as well. Kind of putting her on that platform. But it's like, so how do you fucking follow that up? You know, like Divine, one of the most iconic drag queens of all time. You fucking cast John Travolta. That's what you do. Like, it's insane. I love it.
He moved into it with such ease. Alyssa, didn't you? Alyssa told me, what was it? When the actress that was playing Tracy walked on set for the first time?
When Nikki Blonsky walked on set, the first thing she saw was John Travolta. And the first thing he said to her was, "Come to mama."
Do you think he went method for this?
Like,
do you think
would hope so.
He like kept that suit on and he like did the voice at home.
Probably.
Wig,
I mean, it took so long
getup.
to put on that it just makes sense to just keep it on. Logistically.
Just like for months of filming, like this is my life now.
Yeah. It's like when you have like a cast on for a broken arm and you can't take it off. You just sculpted into it.
So do we want to do a little bit of a recap?
Yeah.
Just if you haven't seen Hairspray, there's the 1988 version, but we're doing the 2007 version today. It was 88 movie by John Waters, and then it got turned into a Broadway musical after that. And then the 2007 movie was kind of like a remake of the musical of the movie situation. So we're doing the 2007 version with John Travolta and Zac Efron and all those people.
Every good actor to ever...
Yeah.
The casting was stunning, but we can get into that.
Okay. So essentially, the movie starts off with Tracy, who is living in Baltimore, Maryland.
And if you don't realize that she's in Baltimore by the end of the first song, you're a fucking idiot. Because she says it about 18,000 times.
Lays it on the thickest layer absolutely possible.
Like, in case you were wondering where I live, it's Baltimore, Maryland.
Good morning, Baltimore, Maryland.
And also, it seems to be the best place in the United States to her.
To her? Oh, we'll get into that. But so, Tracy's living in Baltimore. She's just a regular high school student. She's a little plus size for her time, which is a bit of a plot point. And her best friend, Penny Pingleton, who is played by Amanda Bynes, are just so obsessed with this afternoon, like, how would you describe it? Like, dance
It's like
show?
local. Yeah, it's like local kids, so it's like a lot of the kids they go to high school with are on this, like, afternoon, like, dance special, like, musical specialty show where they all, like, do musical numbers and stuff like that. How do these kids have time to be on this show
me and
also
Emily
go
were
to
talking.
school?
Yeah, well, they definitely get dismissed early for some, like, I don't know if this is...
Like, Tracy...
They have school credit for that.
Yeah. Does this count as a gym credit?
No.
This is the show choir of the 60s, is that you got to go be on the Corny Collins show.
But, like, Tracy and Penny are running out of school every day trying to
catch
to
the
team.
start
It's live.
Yeah,
it's live.
And
so
they had
they
already been
definitely
there for hours getting ready, practicing.
But so, Tracy and Penny are obsessed with this show pretty much. What happens? Tracy pretty much...
Somebody gets pregnant on the show and she has to leave. So then there's an open spot for a new dancer on the Corny Collins show. And Tracy's basically like, this is my fucking moment. But her mom's not really into it. Her mom's like, you're going to run a laundry business like I do. And Tracy's like, I'm in high school. Can you please chill?
I think a lot of that is her mom doesn't want to see her get hurt because she is, like, bigger than all the other
girls,
dancers. So she goes to audition, and how would you describe Velma?
Velma's a cunt.
Like, you can't put that...
I can put whatever I want on the internet. This is our show.
But, like, I guess she's the villain. She's the mom of one of the other dancers on the show, who's, like,
She's kind of like the showrunner.
Yeah, she's the show manager.
And Tracy goes on audition, and Velma says, no chance in France will you ever step foot on the stage. Because she
has an iron grip on the Corny Collins show.
But just because Tracy said, I'm all for integration.
Oh, yeah.
And she says, absolutely not. But then...
She's like, I will not have this communist on my show.
And then it doesn't really explain what there's like it's like a school dance or something.
Yeah, there's like a like Friday afternoon dance at the school or something like that, and Zac Efron's like thrusting his little hips and being real sexy with it.
Who's also the most sexual song on the entire movie. Mm-hmm. That whole thing.
You think is Lady's Choice?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Miss Baltimore Crabs.
No. He's literally implying that he's a sex toy.
But the way she's moaning, the way she says the word crabs,
that's true. She does flat out say in that song, I screwed the judges.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, and
this is a horny film.
Yeah,
this is
especially because
horny movie.
They're supposed to be like 15, 16.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, so Zac Efron singing the song, and
Tracy gets down.
Tracy just starts shaking her ass, and Corny Collins cannot get enough of it.
He's an adult man. Yeah. He is not in high school.
Yeah, like who is this 16-year-old girl?
And then all of a sudden, it doesn't even show the timeline. They're like, get her on the show now. And like 5 minutes later, she's on television.
Uh-huh.
And suddenly she's like the star, and they have merch for her, and they dye her hair, and they give her a makeover. And it's this whole thing where, like now it's the Tracy Turnblad show. Yeah. It's not the Corny Collins show anymore. And Michelle Pfeiffer is fucking livid.
Yes.
Absolutely furious. I mean, so throughout this, pretty much Tracy's made friends with the black kids at school. And that's pretty much where she, like, has the most fun, and she's dancing and everything like that.
So she gets sent to detention.
Yeah, she gets sent to detention.
And they're just always there.
Yeah, always.
Like, all of the black kids
they never
are just
got
in detention.
They never got it. They just voluntarily...
That's their classroom.
They
just get to dance. They're like, you can come to our school, but you just have to dance in a room by yourselves all day. That's the deal that we're going to cut here.
But so, as Tracy pretty much gains a lot of speed on this show and everything like that, she also gets introduced to the civil rights movement at the same time. And
she's at the forefront.
Honestly. What pretty much ends up happening is they have a march in town because Velma, to rebuttal having Tracy on the show, is like, okay, well, we're going to cancel Negro Day on the show because they have one day a month that they bring the black kids on to dance. And so they have this whole march throughout town to protest it. There's a bit of a scuffle.
Queen Latifah is
Queen
there.
Latifah's there. And there's a bit of a scuffle with police, and Tracy hits one of the police with, like, her sign. He's like, you just assaulted an officer. And then Tracy becomes, like, the #1 most wanted person on the FBI, like, watch list.
Yep.
Zac Efron comes to his senses, and he's like, Tracy, I love you. And then they pretty much, how does it even go from here? Tracy, like...
She, like, goes into hiding at his house.
She's a fugitive.
And he's like, you can stay in my nuclear bunker that my family has. And so Tracy hides, and then everything goes down, and then she somehow escapes, and then goes back. Oh, the big pageant.
Yeah, Miss Hairspray pageant is happening the next day.
Yes.
And so Tracy's...
And that bitch from Pitch Perfect, what's her fucking name?
Brittany Snow.
I don't even know.
What's her name in the movie?
Like...
Amber.
Amber wins every year, and Amber is Michelle Pfeiffer's daughter. She wins every year, but Tracy's really giving her a run for her money this time around because the people love her. She's a queen of the people. And so the fact that Tracy's, like, being chased by the cops is pretty good for Amber, because Amber's like, well, she's not going to be able to show up to the pageant. But then at the last fucking second, she descends in a rocket and steps out wearing the most fabulous costume of all time. And then she turns the party, she does a lit musical number, and she brings all of her black friends onto the stage because they're just on standby, I guess. And then they say, racism is over. And Corny Collins says, yes, this has been my ulterior motive the whole time, actually. And I love integration. Michelle Pfeiffer, you are fired. Every day is Negro Day now on the Corny Collins show.
I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote from the movie.
Oh yeah, no, Tracy says, I love Negro Day. I wish every day was Negro Day. And then they roll into
I don't know. Tracy gives me a bit of white savior complex.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the way she's at the front of that march.
Yeah.
Holding hands with Queen Latifah. I'm like, girl, get 3 or 4 rows back.
You are not the person to be up here.
But I can't really tell if Tracy's woke or if she's just a fucking moron, because she all the time she like comes into detention and she's like, "Hey, why are only the black kids here?" Or like somebody will mention something about segregation and she's like, "What's that all about?" What the fuck? It's 1960 this movie takes place in? You've been alive for 15 whole years of your life, Tracy, and you haven't realized the social situation of American society? It's taken you this fucking long?
So here's the thing, and I want to get into this, because we came up with a bit of a theory.
Yeah. Well, I think it started, I was watching it, and I was like, something is off about Tracy. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously. Yeah. I was like, because she's just not getting these social cues at all, ever. Yeah. And then it hit me. I was like, Tracy is manic this entire movie. She's just having a giant manic episode. And then, who was it, Matt, that, like...
Yeah, I think my roommate Matt brought up, he was like, what if, just what if, hear me out. This is all taking place in Tracy's head. And she's actually in the psych ward.
Because we were watching... And I was like, this movie is riddled with mental illness in some way. I mean, I think we said...
And no, you're so right. I think it's like 2006. It's 2007 when this movie came out, and she's like, "What's the big deal? Why can't whites and blacks get along? This is 9/11 has already happened. We got bigger fish to fry now in America." And everyone's like, "Tracy, shut the fuck up."
Well, like Edna is like an older patient, not really her mom, but she's got like agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia. Yeah, because she can't leave the house. Mm-hmm. What else did we say?
Velma's pretty much like a Nurse Ratched kind of character. You know what I'm saying?
We said Zac Efron was
he's like a med student that Tracy's in love with. She's got pictures of him all over.
I thought we were diagnosing them all. He definitely has like narcissistic personality.
See, we said that for Amber.
No, he's definitely a bit of a narcissist, though. Yeah. He's like, no, I can't go help the civil rights movement. I have to think about my career.
He was like, that's enough for today. I danced with them. And now I gotta go. I can't protest with everyone, too.
Yeah. He's like, I'm at my limit. But Penny has ADD off the charts.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the dad, Christopher Walken, there's something going on there as well. He also has, like, an inability to pick up on social cues, because Michelle Pfeiffer is literally flashing her cooter at him. And he is like, would you like to buy...
a whoopee cushion?
Toys. Oh, yeah. Would you like to purchase something from my joke shop?
One of my favorite lines from the movie, though, was, like, after that whole scene, when Edna's pissed off at him, he's like, baby, you know this wasn't me coming on to her. It took me 5 years to even realize that you were flirting with me. I was like, I feel you, Chris.
I forgot, watching this, I had forgotten how good Christopher Walken is in this, too.
Unsung hero.
I was almost crying laughing when him and John Travolta do their musical number together.
Timeless to
me.
And
I was like, that is literally John Travolta and Christopher Walken just, like, dancing around a set. And
so good.
It had, like, so many elements to it, too, that number.
Oh, yeah. It, like, went into, like, a tango and then, like, a ballroom waltz.
Yeah, I was gonna say... John Travolta twisting around like ballroom dancing in that was the moment that I Googled how heavy was that fat suit, because I needed to know.
He did it with ease.
Yeah, it was so beautiful, flawless, 10 out of 10 that I could not imagine. And Christopher Walken is so funny in this movie to me, because he's such like out of left field. Like, you think John Travolta being in drag for this movie is kind of jarring. Christopher Walken playing like an awkward dad character, fucking out of left field for me. I'm like, what the hell? How did they get him on this? Like, how did they sign him onto this?
I loved it, though.
Who drugged him and just pulled him onto the set? And they were like, you're doing this.
His performance was definitely one that I didn't appreciate very much as a child. And I remember, like, starting the movie and being like, oh, great, here's Christopher Walken. Cheats on Edna. Bitch. But, like, then watching it, I was like, oh, he's so sweet.
I think at one point we go, he's like the best dad ever.
Yeah, honestly, he's so supportive of Tracy.
Yeah.
Edna's so nervous about her going and auditioning, and he walks into her room and he's like, do you want to do it? Do you have a dream? And she was like, yes, daddy. And he's like, okay, well, you go follow it.
And
I love that this whole movie, he's like, Christopher Walken is doing an impression of himself for this character. Like, this is the most Christopher Walken voice and mannerisms he has ever displayed on film. When people do an impression of Christopher Walken, he's doing an impression of people doing an impression of him for this movie. It's fucking wild.
Oh, you're so right.
I don't know. The entire cast is just impeccable.
Yeah, well, you really love Amanda Bynes in this.
If I could play anyone in any Broadway musical, it would be Penny in Hairspray.
She's so good.
I see that for you.
She's like such a major character, but also like such a good side character. Like, you know how like side characters sometimes almost like overshadow like the main character a little bit? Penny is like right in that nice little pocket where she's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And she's got such like great comedic like what's the right word for it?
Like timing and instinct.
Exactly.
She always, her little quippy lines come in at the perfect right moment so that you remember her. But she's not, you don't like her more than you like Tracy. You kind of just like them as a team.
Exactly.
Which is definitely, I think, a balance that's kind of hard to find.
Her and Seaweed, too, though, are probably my favorite part of this entire movie.
Yeah.
Fucking Seaweed. The fact that his name is Seaweed just knocks me out. Why the fuck is his name Seaweed?
I love it, though.
But, yeah, the two of them are really great. I also love that she has a lollipop all the time in this movie.
That was a piece of trivia. Her dad, in real life, was a dentist while she was filming. I don't know what he's up to these days, but while she was filming this, he was a dentist. And he was concerned about the amount of lollipops she was eating every day. Because I think it said on set she was eating like 40 lollipops a day. And she was like, no,
Holy
Dad,
shit.
like, I don't actually eat them. Like, that's fake. But she was completely eating all the lollipops.
Yeah, just a full blatant lie.
What? She's like, I'm not really eating them. I'm just putting them in my mouth until they're gone.
Yeah. It's just,
and then I get another
It's just
one.
the stick. Don't worry about it. Like,
no, because she's fully like tonguing that
she's
lollipop.
gnawing on
She like
them.
Yeah.
She pulls it out, and then she, like, gives it a little flick of the tongue. She spits on it a little bit. Like, she is working. Yep. If I was Seaweed, too, I'd be like, okay, girl.
They just connected like that right off the bat, and I love that for them. Like, we talk a lot about how there are couples in movies who it's, like, a 2-week romance, and you're like, okay, I believe it or I don't believe it, and so Tracy and Link, who's played by Zac Efron, have one of those. And I am not not even close to convinced.
I don't even care about it.
I could not care less about Tracy and Link. But Penny and Seaweed, I am here for it. I am on board 110%. I want them to get married. Yeah. I want to be at their wedding.
The funny thing is, too, there's never a conversation between them in the movie. They just looked at each other, and I think their clothes fell off immediately.
Yeah, the sexual tension, you could cut it with a knife.
I love that first scene where Tracy goes into detention, and they are all just, like, dancing, and she's like, my kind of people, I love to dance, and she just immediately starts shaking her ass and just, whipping her head, and they're like, hey, that's pretty good, but try out these moves. And then they, like, teach her the new dance moves that they've come up with, and they're all about it. They're like, yeah, white girl, get it. And they just, like, immediately accept her into their little group, and they're like, yeah, let's all just, like, dance in a circle until detention's over. Or whatever, but then her and Penny kind of have this in where detention becomes this, like, cool spot to be, because now she's on the Corny Collins show and all that, and Penny's kind of like, oh yeah, like, they're with me. They can get into detention now. I love that. And yeah, I think Link and Tracy want what Penny and 100%. Seaweed have. Does not compare. That's, the whole time I'm like, Tracy, this boy broke. Your career, your ability, your stardom, that is where you need to be investing your energy on, because this Link guy doesn't even want to march for civil rights. So, fuck him.
I love that Link, I mean, it's kind of similar in the way that Tracy and Link, like, get together, that, like, that, like, Seaweed and Penny get together, that, like, Link and Tracy get together, because Link walks into detention and just sees Tracy smack her ass, and he's like, that's it. I'm in. I'm fully committed.
And he's dating Amber. Mm-hmm. And he kind of, like, doesn't ever actually break up with her. Yeah. He just sort of is like, yeah, I'm gonna just move on to this new bitch now. And I'm like, come on, Link. Get with the program. We respect women. I mean, it's 1960s, so you probably don't respect women, but we respect women in this house, so.
You know who respects women? Wilbur.
Is that Christopher Walken? Yeah, I don't know anyone's name.
I feel like we're already on the topic, though. Can we just talk about, because we talked about it a little bit, how horny this movie is?
Oh my god. It is, I wrote, this is a horny film. It just ramps up. It does not stop until the end. Once you get that first little inkling of, like, things are getting a little sexual considering these kids are in high school. And then Miss Baltimore Crabs, she's fully moaning. Lady's Choice, he is humping the air for 6 minutes.
And I think Velma says at one point, she was like, no, not one person can shake their ass on my show.
Yeah, no. She was like, no, hip thrusting,
Nothing.
No bumping and grinding. We are civil people here.
But we will sing about boning each other. But I had written down, I was like, there is no way that Velma's not fucking one of those kids.
Oh, her morals are you already know that her morals are like zip. She doesn't have any.
That's just true. Yeah, the way she's like, Mrs. Baltimore Crabs, and they lift her up. They lift her. They're like grabbing her ass on the way up. She is. You know who she is not fucking though is Corny Collins. He is not having any of that fucking shit.
The progressive king that he is.
That's broke is when you're in middle school and you see Hairspray and you have a crush on Link because Zac Efron is the apple of your eye. But fucking woke is being in your 20s and realizing that Corny Collins, James Marsden as Corny Collins is where it's fucking at. If you do not have a crush on Corny Collins, you can get out, is my opinion. So good. He is a little passive though. He's like, I will from afar support segregation. And then when the time is right, I will say, yes, this has been my intention since day one.
Capitalizes on it at the end of it. He was like, how can I make this about me now? And then he's like, oh yeah.
I run this bitch.
Motormouth Maybell. And he just like pushes her onto the stage.
Can we talk about Queen Latifah as Motormouth Mabel? She is so good.
Absolutely stunning.
Oh my god.
Did you know Aretha Franklin went out for this role and Queen Latifah got it over her, and I think that's fucking wild. But I think she's perfect, amazing, everything. I love her in this. The costumes. I mean, we can get into that later, but I think the hair and costumes in this movie are absolutely insane. They're kind of like a parody of like what the 60s actually was. Like nobody fucking dressed like that, but the fact that everything is like bumped to a 15 out of 10 is amazing. Queen Latifah looks fucking stunning. She's just like in a caftan, like in a muumuu the whole time with like huge hair that hits the ceiling. She's amazing.
I love it.
And yeah, so she's like she's like the foil character for Michelle Pfeiffer because she is kind of the showrunner for the Negro Day on the show, and so Corny Collins at the end pulls her in and is like, we're doing this together now, and I love it. I love that for them.
I hope they're fucking.
I think yeah
she's a lesbian.
Is that the vibe you got?
Well, Queen Latifah, Jesus Christ, Queen Latifah is a lesbian in real life.
Why didn't I know?
Did not know that.
How did I not
which
know
is
that?
I think I knew it in the back of my head, but watching this film, the gay vibes I got radiated off of her, I said to Henry, I'm like, is she gay in real life? And he's like, fuck if I know. And so watching this movie made me Google, is Queen Latifah gay? And yes, she's married to a woman. So
how did I not know that?
The gay vibe she gave me on this alone permeated into her
love
truth.
that. Oh my god, just so much more.
Right, and that's what the vibe I got, that she, little Inez, or whatever her name is her daughter. Yes. But I kind of got, like, adoptive vibes. I don't really know. I don't know the
Seaweed
full story.
and Inez are both her kids.
Oh, I didn't even get that. They were all just kind of like, they live in a record store or something. They're just there all the time. But one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie is when, after school, Seaweed takes Link, Penny, and Tracy from detention where they all are, and he's like, hey, you can come hang out with us. Then there's this whole musical number where they're like on the bus.
One of the best songs, by the way.
Integration. Pretty good stuff, huh? And then they bring them to this record store where all the black kids hang out after school. They're all just like dancing a perfectly choreographed musical number, which I guess is what they do. But then that bitch Amber, she calls Tracy's mom, and she pretends to be an adult, and she's like, hey, your daughter's canoodling with the coloreds, so you're gonna have to take care of that. And so then she shows up, John Travolta, what's her name, Edna? Edna shows up basically to this place, and she's like, you can't really be here, like, that's not really chill with how things are. And then Queen Latifah single-handedly ends racism by feeding cornbread to John Travolta in a fat suit. She's like, here's the thing. She's like, is that we're actually fine, and let me prove it to you. Have a meal. We have a full kitchen in this record store for some fucking reason, and we have a full spread of food, and if you just hang out and see that we're not so bad. And then John Travolta's like, well, I cannot refuse a meal, so I will be participating in that. And it looks fucking great, and then all of a sudden, racism is over for all these people. It's amazing. Queen Latifah, she just knows how to turn it out.
Exactly.
That was also another, like, musical number. Like, I slept a lot, like, when I was younger on the musical number with John Travolta and Christopher Walken. But this one, too, what is it? Big, Blonde, and Beautiful, I think is the name of the song. Yep. Absolutely stunning. Like, if I walked in there and Queen Latifah was singing that number to me, I would be enchanted. I couldn't take my fucking eyes off of her.
I can't believe that this movie dared to make the comparison that they're like, Tracy, you're a little bit overweight. That's kind of like being black when you think about it.
No, really.
I cannot believe they're like, you're kind of looked down upon in society as well. So we are kind of same, you and I. I cannot believe this movie dared to, through a musical number,
you can
make
very
that
much
comparison.
You can very much tell that the actual musical was constructed in, like, the early 2000s.
Yeah, it was the 80s. The 80s was the first movie version, and then I think it was maybe the early 2000s was when the musical was made, and then it hit so big popularity because the original movie was really more of a cult film. Like, it was 88, so it really didn't do well until, like, the early 90s when it kind of became like a cult following, mostly amongst, like, you know, gay people and drag queens were really into it because of Divine and John Waters. But then it was really the musical, the Broadway musical in the early 2000s when the popularity exploded, and then they're like, we have to make a movie out of this. We got to capitalize on this success.
One of the things that does sour this for me is the fact that in the original musical version on Broadway, Matthew Morrison played Link.
It makes me nauseous to think about. I don't want to talk about it.
This is a sore spot.
Yeah.
If you can't tell from like our ramblings, we don't really have, at least speaking for myself, I don't really know a ton about the original movie. I've never seen the 88 version, and obviously I've never seen the Broadway show. I've never seen. So when I'm speaking about those, it's purely like IMDb surface level trivia type shit. So if anybody out there is like a hardcore Hairspray stan, if you want to join the Hairspray community of now 4, you can hit us with some facts, because if y'all tell me it's worth watching, maybe I'll give it a spin, because I do love this one so much. But I think you talking about the musical numbers you kind of slept on, I want to get into last week for Mamma Mia, I texted you and I was like, defend your favorite number to the death, and I'm expecting this of you. And so I just rolled it over into this week as well, and I texted both of you while I was watching, and I'm like, hey, a heads up, I am going to ask you what your favorite number is, and I'm like, you have to pick a favorite number and defend it. Okay. So I'm interested to hear what your answers are, and I'm intrigued. It
feels like there's only one right answer for this. There's not, but there is. Because in the same way that you said, like, last week, Dancing Queen felt like a cop-out for Mamma Mia, I mean, what's the name of the song? Freaking,
We Can't
Stop the Beat. Like, that entire sequence is so outstanding, and just it gives me so much joy watching that number. Like, it's just unmatched for me throughout, like, the entire movie. There are so many other good numbers, but, like, once it gets to that scene, like, I'm having, like, a little bit of heart palpitations. I'm getting so into it.
I cried.
My shoulders... Yeah, Alyssa cried.
I was listening to it in the car ride, like, a few days ago. We're getting ready. And I cried when John Travolta started singing. Like, fully teared up in the car by myself. But it's just the fact... It's a 10-minute long like number.
There's not a better like end sequence song from any musical. Like, if you think you have a better one, please like hit us up, let us know. But this one is just so the pure energy that this one brings.
There's just so many elements to it.
Exactly.
Like, you go through an emotional roller coaster. Mm-hmm. Like, you're like, well, shit. Sorry, Tracy. Amber's taking the gold, and then she ascends from a hairspray bottle, a giant, and then the choreography.
I love it. And suddenly her hair is different too. The costume change there, it shows that she's a changed woman. It's brilliant.
The emotion
it's fucking brilliant.
When they crown. This must have been like the biggest plot twist of my life when I first saw it when I was 10. And they crown Little Miss Ina Stud. Mm-hmm. Insane. And I have to point out, I don't know if Amanda Bynes has any musical
experience
or like training, but the few lines that she has in this song, it like sends me over the edge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's perfect.
And she could probably the dress that she was wearing.
Oh my god!
For that number, that kind of makes it the best one in itself.
True enough.
Yeah, I gotta say the costuming in this movie just absolutely sends me every time, every outfit, every scenario. Her pigtails, just the way everything is styled to a T is just, the perfect combination of like historical reference and camp and like.
I hope
they're dancing too. So
did they get any awards for costume design?
I couldn't. I would guess not, but I could be wrong. But there were so many like instances where I was just watching the movie and I was like, God, I want to have that. You know what I mean?
Like everyone's hair, it took them 2 hours to do Penny's hair every day.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But anyways, do I think this is the best song on the album? Not at all.
But musical number?
But the best number, I could defend it.
Because I think you and me both agree that
I could write a thesis about it.
Fair. I think you and I both agree that Without Love is probably the best song.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That one just gives me a lot of life as well. But Dara, please, we need your input. What do you think? What's your favorite number?
So are both of you are saying We Can't Stop the Beat is the best musical number of this whole? That's your favorite? Both of you are
gonna say Baltimore Crabs? Are you sure?
Because. Well, okay, so while I was taking my notes, I was like, I have to consider Miss Baltimore Crabs. Because just Michelle Pfeiffer's star quality presence and performance in that song is so good. I cannot say it's unmatched, because I will go on to explain my favorite. But just her establishing song as the villain, like my favorite song from almost any given Disney movie is the villain
as
song.
It should be.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you think, they always, it's kind of jazzy and haunting. Sexy. And a little like, like horny, but every song in this movie is horny. But Miss Baltimore Crabs, I love establishing her. And the fact that her fucking like claim to fame is that she has a title called Miss Baltimore Crabs is absolutely fucking insane buffoonery. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but she really owns it. She's owning it, and she's like, yes, this is my legacy. But I will not say that is my favorite, but I will say it's an honorable mention.
Do you guys know this? I don't know much about Michelle Pfeiffer.
She didn't know she was the villain of the movie?
Her character was racist until halfway through the filming.
The filming, yes, I saw that. Fucking insane.
She didn't read the script beforehand?
Obviously not. Somebody's like, you're gonna get to be a MILF. And like, for this point in your career, that's perfect. You can sing, you can dance, you are so skinny, and you are just perfect for this role. So we're gonna sign you on, okay? You're gonna get paid $10 million.
Minor detail,
like,
you're
sure.
a raging racist.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
But like, no one's gonna notice.
No. Also, quick off-topic question. But because she is just the MILF of all MILFs in this film, I want to know, between Meryl Streep as Donna in Mamma Mia or Michelle Pfeiffer as Velma in Hairspray, who is the better MILF? Maybe not better, but who's the... which MILF do you pick?
Well, what are you going off of?
Just MILF, yes, MILFage alone. Honestly...
Is there a scale for that?
Yeah, well, it's your guttural instinct reaction, and I gotta say that the racism issue makes her a lot less milfy to me. But I will argue Rosie, Donna, and who's the third one? Tanya. I think Tanya's
that's
the
true.
MILF. She doesn't have kids, but she's of that age, you know. And I think Donna's certainly a MILF. I'm not discrediting her, but I do think if we're doing pure raw MILF
okay,
energy,
so let's change it. Yeah,
it's Tanya
for sure.
Yeah, no,
it's Tanya
that's very
for me.
Yeah, that's a no contest sort of situation.
Okay, but I have to hear your favorite.
Yeah, sorry, we're getting off track.
Number.
So I guess this is maybe like unpopular opinion or something, because I did try to do the like last week when I said that, you know, you can't pick Dancing Queen because it's like the big number or whatever. I tried to stay away from We Can't Stop the Beat, even though I totally agree. It's fucking crazy the way those people are dancing. I cannot believe it. It made me sweat. I was sweating. I wasn't even moving.
I'm crying.
Maybe
You're
I was
sweating.
also doing that thing where I was like it was like involuntarily like clenching and unclenching my butt cheeks to the 140 tempo, like really getting a workout in. But the musical number in this movie that sticks with me the most, that I just love, is Welcome to the 60s.
It's so good.
It's the mother-daughter number between Tracy and Edna. This is like basically John Travolta's epic scene, because there's a number with the husband-wife musical number scene, which comes a little later in the movie, but this is the big one where you're like, damn, John Travolta can really swing that thing in this fast
one
suit.
part I ascend into this
during the song.
Yes, when he does the little like yodel thing in the middle.
Yes! And that's why I picked it, because it's just those little details that just get me, and this is just the best number to me, because the whole way it starts off with, like, they're going to this plus-size dress shop to get her, like, a sponsorship, basically, like, so she can be a spokesperson, and Edna goes full momager. She's like, I'm in charge here. I am crossing things out of the contract. This is not to be debated. And that's when her character shift really happens for me, because she was originally like agoraphobic, running a laundry business out of her house, really like not about her daughter stepping into the limelight. And then like once it's happening, it's fucking happening. And Edna's like, no, I'm in the driver's seat and I'm like a boss bitch. And the way they both get makeovers and she's really feeling herself, and she's like, I'm actually hot. She's like, holy shit, I'm hot. And they do this whole dance number, and I don't know, that musical number just...
Oh, it's so good. No, it is definitely one of those ones, like, I feel
you definitely look over it.
Yeah, you overlook it, unfortunately. But it is really, it's stellar, absolutely phenomenal. I like all the backup singers. They add so much to the song itself, and just so much character to the entire scene as well. It's just too good. Also, isn't that, like, Angelina Jolie's dad who plays Mr. Pinky? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I hope not.
Angelina Jolie's dad is John Voight, so no.
Who the fuck am I thinking of then? Wait, no, who is that guy then? It's Jerry Stiller. It's Jerry Stiller.
Yeah, Ben Stiller's dad. Yeah,
listen, I knew it was someone's dad.
Rest
someone's
in peace.
Old dad.
He died pretty recently, I think.
Yeah.
R.I.P. But also, so he, I think, was maybe in the original, in the 1988 one. Don't quote me on that, but I know John Waters, in I believe it's Good Morning Baltimore, there's like a flasher in the street.
Yeah.
In that number, and
my God.
that's John Waters who made the original. Yeah,
way.
So he had a little cameo moment,
and
which
that's
was really cute.
That's the part he chose?
No, well, it's just like,
so good for him.
He's not an actor or anything. He just wanted to like kind of have like a little background role.
I will say that this movie starts off with such a bang.
Yeah.
Like, this movie very much fits the Broadway role more than, like, last week with Mamma Mia. Like, obviously Mamma Mia was also a Broadway musical, until, like, movie adaptation. But this one, you really feel it. Like, starts off with this huge number, ends with another huge number. But it's just so, like, off the bat, crazy and just wild and fun.
It's
and
a
like
no-skip album.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
But, like, Tracy rides into school on a dump truck.
I love it.
You know what I mean? I love the line, what does she do? The rats on the feet, on the street, I'll dance around my feet, and she feeds them.
That's when I knew. I was like, this girl's manic.
No, I do love, because like when I was asking like favorite number type, favorite, song, musical number type questions, that this movie is sandwiched by powerhouses, because Good Morning Baltimore is unforgettable, and then obviously We Can't Stop the Beat at the end is like the moment. Like it ramps up to that huge moment. So I always, as a passive watcher, as like, I think I've seen this movie maybe less than 5 times overall. And so the first couple times I saw it, those are the 2 that stick with you. The first one and the last one. If you can like remember the lyrics, remember what was happening, that's it. But then like with a more watchful eye, realizing that everything in the middle is fucking amazing as well, I think is the real gem of this movie.
Oh yeah. Alyssa always likes to bring up, because when we were sitting there and like debating like what the best song or the best musical number was, Alyssa's like, "Oh, Emily's favorite is I Can Hear the Bells," and I'm always sitting there. I'm like, "No, it's not."
But like it is in the back of your head.
It's one of those ones like whenever
like you put it on regular playlists.
I don't think
it's
I've
so
ever done
good.
that.
There's a difference between like which one you appreciate most in the movie versus which one you will like scream in your car. The totally different vibes.
Yeah, the one I'll scream is usually like Without Love, but when I want to like sit there and have a moment with myself and do a performance in my car, it's probably I Can Hear the Bells, because it's just so theatrical and over the top. It's brilliant. Because like also like everyone's been there, like where Tracy is, where they're like, "Oh my god, he looked at me, we're gonna get married, holy shit."
See, I feel like I relate to Tracy more during the very first musical number in Good Morning Baltimore, about like having a deep insatiable love for a place that is incredibly shitty. Like for me, it's like Good Morning Worcester. I'm like singing about Central Massachusetts like it's the best place on the planet.
I'm like trying to sell Worcester to people. I'm like, no, I lived there for 4 years. It really isn't that bad.
You start singing about Coney Island hot dog.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You pick all those like weird little things. Yeah, you're like, there's rats, but they're kind of nice.
They're my friends, guys.
Speaking of Baltimore, I think I told you guys this, but I was with my friend and her family, and we were watching The Bachelorette, and one of the people said they were from Baltimore, and out loud I say, "Oh my god, I love Baltimore." And they all look at me and they're like, "Alyssa, have you ever been to Baltimore?" She's like,
"No."
I was like, "No, I haven't." And they're like, "Well, where's this coming from?" And I was like, "Oh my," I was like stuttering, trying to save myself. I was like, "I just really like the musical Hairspray, and that's where it's set." Baltimore.
I am fucking dead. That story's fucking wild. But just, it's crazy. Like, I love that this musical is set in kind of like a mundane. I've never been to Baltimore either, so I don't really know. Maybe it's a super magical place. If anyone out there is from Baltimore and wants to like defend it to the grave and tell me to come visit, like maybe I will. But if it was like New York City or like LA or like Chicago, even like somewhere like kind of glamorous, and she's out here like, "Good morning, San Francisco," something like that, I would maybe buy it a little bit more than this is kind of like, "Good morning, Schenectady, New York." Like, what the fuck? Tampa, Florida.
She's delusional. I don't want to say she's delusional, because like you said, maybe Baltimore is just outstanding.
Right? I don't like crab that much, to be honest, and I know Old Bay, like Old Bay seasoning and crabs is a big thing. Just,
I do love Old Bay seasoning.
Old Bay seasoning on French fries is where it's at.
Oh yeah,
for me personally. Or popcorn. Henry and I have been putting it on popcorn lately, and that shit fucking slaps. Yeah.
Utz makes like an Old Bay seasoned chip that's really outstanding. Yeah, I would highly recommend. But yeah, maybe on our world tour we'll have to hit Baltimore.
Our world tour. If y'all want us to do a swamp tour where 3 people from each city show up and we just hang out on a couch, you're gonna each have to give us like $60. It's gonna be kind of steep, unless you can gather a large group of people to
either
to
you
hang
house
out.
us or you give us $60.
Yeah, right. If you can put us up like in your mom's basement, like on your mom's couch. Honestly, Hugh, Ohio, I think there are enough of you TBH.
Oh my god.
when we look at the stats, Hugh, Ohio is our #1 city. So if you're from Hugh,
God
and like,
bless you.
and like 60 of you want to each pay $1 for us to come to your town, I'll drive to fucking Ohio.
Should we have a swamp meetup in Hugh, Ohio?
So as we transition points here, do we want to call Jen in for chocolate or vanilla?
Please, yes.
She's on standby.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm so glad. There she is. Hi,
Hey.
Jen.
All right, so we have special guest Jen here once again for a edition of Chocolate or Vanilla, which is our sort of mid-podcast segment that we do with my mother and our intern, Jen. Intern means we do not pay her, but she does a lot of research and work for us. So every week she comes up with a list of questions for the game Chocolate or Vanilla, which is when you just name 2 things and say which one you like better. And make sure to keep your eye out on our Instagram. We post them every weekend for so you can say which one you like better. So keep your eye out for that. Yeah. Jen, is there a theme this week?
There is no theme.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ooh, I love a good wild card.
I'm so excited. This
So
is my favorite segment.
It's kind of it's kind of a rewind because we did this one a couple weeks ago. The week I think you guys reviewed Lady Bird. I was at a wedding and I tried to do it from the wedding and it was way too noisy.
Yes.
So I figured I would just do that one again.
Very dedicated to the pod, though. Appreciate all the effort from the wedding.
Right. Jen phoned in from like fully a wedding reception. Like the bride and the groom were like, "I do," and she was over here like, "So what do you like better, Legos or Lincoln Logs?"
And I bet we could have got away with it, but it was rainy, so everybody was inside. So I was like tucked behind the gift table a little bit, but yeah, I figured I would just redo that one.
Beautiful.
All right, great. All right. So for reference, Dara, this is Dara speaking. My answer will be first, then Emily, Alyssa, and then Jen, who is my mother.
Okay. So chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Probably tea.
Ooh.
Yeah. I would say coffee also. Regular cake or cupcakes?
Regular cake. Cupcakes, I just don't like the frosting to cake ratio personally. Too much frosting and not enough cake. I just like cake better.
I agree with you on that. Plus, cake can take so many forms. Cheesecake, ice cream cake.
Oh, yeah.
You can do so much more with it. All right.
Yeah, probably cake, just because you said ice cream cake. I'm thinking of the ones from Friendly's with the cookie crumble stuff in it.
Oh, on the inside, in the middle layer. Yes. I'm still going to say cupcakes. I like a single serving dessert.
Mobile.
Yes. Rainbows or unicorns?
Rainbows. Unicorns do not exist.
Also rainbows.
Rainbows?
I will say unicorns because they're special. Oreos or chocolate chip cookies?
That's really hard because I feel like chocolate chip cookies, you can have them warm, which is a mood, and you can't have a warm Oreo. But like Oreos are very convenient. But I'll go with chocolate chip cookies because if I can include a scoop of ice cream on there, like a warm chocolate chip cookie with a fucking scoop of vanilla ice cream will set me off.
But think about, I'm going to say Oreos because you can crumble Oreos on top of ice cream and it can be in ice cream. And also, I think back to that one time, I think we were watching The Social Network and Jen made these like big puffy Oreo like stuff.
Oh, that's a whoopie pie though. That's not an Oreo.
But it's like, it was Oreo styled.
My recent obsession has been revisiting the idea of the Oreo cakester. If anybody out there from the early 2000s remembers the Oreo product spinoff that was the Oreo cakester, it was like a whoopie pie version of an Oreo, and they discontinued them. And I'm obsessed. I cannot stop thinking about them. So yeah, it was like a whoopie pie version of an Oreo. Oreo cakesters, please reach out. Please, for the love of God, reach out if you've had Oreo cakesters. I cannot. My mind will not rest until I eat an Oreo cakester once again.
I saw you tweeted about it, and I was like, is she revisiting that thing that we had a couple of weeks ago?
Yes.
That's fair. All right, where do you stand?
I have to go with Oreo just because there's so many different flavors of Oreos.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's your favorite? Do you have a
I like
do you have
the
a favorite
birthday cake
of, like,
one. But like
They do a good
and
lemon
also,
one.
fried Oreos.
Ooh.
Those are the best.
That shit's fucked.
Yeah, you can't fry a
Fucked
chocolate
good.
chip cookie.
No.
I mean, you
Those
could,
are best.
but
Fried Oreos are best in Maine.
you could fry
some
anything.
You can have fried cookie dough though. Fried cookie dough. Have you ever had that?
No.
That shit's wild.
I would also say chocolate chip cookies. Like warm, melty chocolate chip cookies. Oh, the Oreos. Have you guys had the s'mores Oreos?
Those are I was gonna say
No.
those are our favorite in our household. The s'mores Oreos, I would say the lemon ones are good. I like the carrot cake ones are also
They have
pretty
a
good.
red
but
velvet
I
cake
really,
one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
The s'mores ones though are my favorite. The cookie part is like graham cracker.
Oh,
It's
that's
good
hot.
shit.
I know you will probably dislike this, Dara, but I really fuck with the mint Oreos. Those ones are really
I knew you were
good.
going to say that. Staying up late or sleeping in late?
Sleeping in, motherfucker.
Yeah, definitely sleeping
I love to sleep in.
Probably staying up late.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Sleeping in just feels like a luxury to me, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
staying up, like, I'm always up late.
But like, if you're out doing stuff like on the weekends, it's fun.
That's
I don't like
true.
staying up late during the week.
Yeah. Like, it's like a
I go to bed at like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock during the week.
Okay.
That's early.
60.
Yeah, well, I think that's why I like
You work early, though.
sometimes like staying up late because I don't get to do it often.
That's fair. No, that makes total sense. What about you, Jen?
I would say staying up late. I like staying up late. Monopoly or Candyland?
Like, I feel like there's just like a disparity between these two games because Candyland is something you play as a
Disparity?
child. Yeah. A difference, a very stark difference between them because Candyland is for children and cannot be enjoyed by adults as it is simple. But Monopoly inquires intellect, ruthlessness, cunning, and strategy, and can be enjoyed by an adult. So I just don't think these are two, as a board game fan, I just don't think these are comparable, and I will have to say Monopoly, because if somebody said to me, let's play Candyland, I'd say, what are you on? And if somebody were to say, let's play Monopoly, I'd say, hell fucking yeah.
Yeah, well, you can tell a lot about a person if they, like, bring up, like, let's play Monopoly. You know what I mean? So I'll also say Monopoly.
Yeah, it means they're a psychopath.
I fuck with that.
Well, girls, I'm gonna go with Candyland because, like you said, you need to be
Cunning and ruthless.
cunning and intelligent to play Monopoly, and those are simply things that I am not. So, like, I don't have the mental capacity to play Monopoly.
That's
I mean,
fair.
I like Life because that's just like
Life is a good
there's no
game.
skill involved.
Yeah. You just pick up kids along the
I
way.
just gotta put the kids in the car. Maybe change careers. halfway through.
Do I go to college? I don't know.
So I'm gonna have to go with Candyland.
They've got the better characters as well. I will say that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, but what is it, Mr. Gloopy? The chocolate guy who's just like a pile of mud?
I'm going to say
The peppermint
Candyland
guy?
also. Yeah.
Yeah, the art design on that game is wild.
Oh, yeah.
If you really look at those Candyland characters, somebody was on something when they made that.
Yeah, I'm with Alyssa. I think Monopoly's way too ruthless for me. All right, Friday night or Saturday night?
Friday night, baby.
Yeah, definitely Friday night. Like, you hit that peak because you just got off of work and,
Yeah.
like, you're ready to have a weekend. Saturday night, you just have to remember that it's preceded by Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, oh.
Exactly.
But, yeah, definitely Friday night.
Yeah, it's gotta be Friday night. Except sometimes
Friday
you're more
night.
tired. Or like I
But that's when you rally.
I get exhausted. Well, yeah. If you can do that.
I mean, I feel like it's more impressive, and then you're a little proud of yourself. You're like, I made it out tonight.
But yeah, Friday night.
Slippers or blanket?
Wait, Jen, what, Friday or Saturday?
Oh, I said Friday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Slippers or a blanket? I love a blanket.
Yeah.
I don't wear shoes in the house, like of any sort, personally. I don't really have an issue with my feet touching the cold hardwood floor. That's not something I wish to averse by wearing socks or shoes. But a blanket. Talk to me about a blanket. I have a heated blanket and a weighted blanket, and you put both on. You put the heated one first and then the weighted one, and then you can you feel like you're in a toaster oven. I feel like a microwavable burrito in a fucking toaster oven, and it's beautiful and amazing.
That sounds like it would
and I
suffocate
can
you.
Oh, yes, it does. And it's everything I want. I want to not be able to breathe, think, or move. I want to feel like I'm being buried alive a little bit, and it's amazing. So blanket every day.
Yeah, I'm also going to have to go blanket. Not to the degree that Dara went blanket, but my mom always, like, she knits a lot of, or not knits, crochets. She crochets a lot of blankets and stuff like that, and there's nothing better than, like, wrapping myself up in this lovely little, like, cozy crocheted blanket that she made. So, I'm gonna also have to go blanket.
Yeah. I'm gonna go blanket. I also don't think I own a pair of slippers. Or, like, ever really have.
It's fair. Like, moccasins.
Or, like, fuzzy socks, even.
I like those.
I feel like a thick sock could be considered a slipper of sorts.
I like a blanket, but I like my feet to be warm, so
That's
I like
fair.
a booty slipper. French toast or waffles?
French toast. And honestly, I feel like this has got to be a triple because I feel like people usually go like pancake, waffle, French toast is like the top three. And I feel like I'm usually in the minority when I say French toast, but I just think it has a lot more flavor to it. Personally, a waffle and a pancake are like a blank canvas, which you can do with it what you want. But a French toast in and of itself is fucking delicious.
Have you ever had like
flavorful.
cinnamon swirl French toast? Though?
Yeah.
Yes, so good. Like brioche bread, like a good, delectable bread, fucking French toasted. Ugh, so good. So I will say French toast.
I agree with you there. I know too many people that will say, like, pancake. I feel like everyone says waffle at the bottom tier, you know what I mean? And I'm just not comfortable associating with so many people that say pancake is over French toast. But I wholly agree. French toast is top of its class breakfast, like, sweet in that sort of realm.
I have to go French toast. There was definitely a period of time, like I go through waves of only like ordering and eating French toast, and then I forget about it for like a few months, and then I remember it exists and I do it again. Just that constant cycle.
Yeah, no.
You're like, I forgot how much I really like this.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep, French toast for me too. Cashews or pistachios?
Ooh, this is interesting. We've
Sorry,
got
Emily.
An allergy. We've got an allergy on
This is
board.
hard, actually.
Couldn't be me, though. But cashews and pistachios are both really great in different contexts. But I gotta say, pistachios are usually salted heavier. And I do love that salt. So I'm gonna go with pistachios. And they're green, which is a lot of fun. But both are great nut options, TBH.
Here's the thing, is I actually had cashews once again for the first time rather recently, because they were like, well, you haven't had this in like 10 or so years. Let's do an allergy test.
Exposure therapy.
Exactly, pretty much. And they kept giving me like they gave me like half a cashew, and then like one cashew, then like a small cup of cashews and everything like that. So I had cashews.
And then they were dumping them down your throat.
Yeah, pretty much.
They put a funnel in your throat and just poured.
And I honestly, and I don't think I'm allergic to them anymore, but I'm also still a little scared to have them. But I did really enjoy them, so I'm gonna say cashews.
Did you pass the cashew test?
I think so. Like my mouth.
They never really told me.
They said I wasn't allergic, but like when I started eating them, my mouth and like ears still got a little itchy. But like, so it's like, if in my regular life I want to have a cashew, but it's at the price of having my tongue get itchy, I'm like, well, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm kind of allergic to them. I don't know.
Itchy tongue's okay. Swollen tongue.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
Be very careful,
exactly.
Please. Yeah.
But these are like two of the only nuts that you're not allergic to, Alyssa.
Yeah.
So you have to have a very strong
I'm
opinion
really
on this.
like I'm a little distraught right now. Yeah, I love cashews. Cashews you can dip in like you can have the chocolate covered ones too.
Ooh. Have you ever had Everything Bagel season ones?
Yes, and they're fantastic.
Everything bagel season cashews. I haven't
You can
heard
flavor
of
cashews so well, like in any way. My favorite's just like the salt and pepper ones.
Yeah, makes sense.
Incredible. But I might have to go with pistachios because I feel like I like that better in food.
Yeah, you can put more pistachio on like more things.
I swear, this is gonna sound terrible. there was one, it was at a Not Your Average Joe's, like the restaurant, and they used to have like a pistachio pizza, and it was the best thing I've ever eaten. And I think about it all the time. I would go to that restaurant.
What else was on it?
I don't even remember.
It was like a white sauce pizza.
They got, and then I would go all the time to get it, and then one day I went and it wasn't on the menu, and they just took it off everywhere.
Heartbreaking.
It was the worst day of my life. And I looked it up.
I will say
the recipe. It's nowhere to be found on the internet. They're gatekeeping it somewhere, and
let the people have it.
But yeah,
in the
long
vault.
story short, it's gonna go to pistachios.
But pistachios, I feel like you can make pesto.
Yeah.
You know, like pesto pine nuts, but you can sub pine nuts for a lot of things. And pistachio pesto, if you've ever had, pretty fucking good.
That sounds hot. What about you, Jen?
I would say cashews though, as far as like sitting and like snacking. Yeah. Next one, bangs or no bangs?
Hell yeah, I got bangs. I got bangs, motherfucker. They make my forehead sweaty, but they are worth it because if I have acne on my forehead, it is concealed.
I think last time I said no bangs, but I've come to the conclusion that I have a lot of respect for you ladies that can rock bangs. It's just not me, so I'll say bangs.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go bangs too because I'm a little jealous that I can't rock them, but my younger self is also saying bangs because
we rocked bangs for a long time.
My mom like made me have bangs until like the 6th grade.
Yeah.
She was like, no, it's not an option. Like, you're getting bangs.
Bangs or bust.
Yeah. So, bangs, yeah.
That's because in the 70s and 80s, just bangs was like 100% of girls had bangs.
Yeah.
I will also say bangs.
I pretty recently converted to Bang Life, and I like brought the hairdresser a picture of like David Cassidy. Is that his name?
Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, give me this. And honestly, I've been on the boat ever since. I cut them myself now, and whenever people are like, cute hair, I can be like, yeah, I cut my own bangs. So
love that for you.
It's word.
I'm always jealous of you guys though who can pull back your hair into a pony, just like no bangs. Yeah.
Because when you have bangs, as soon as you push your bangs back, you feel like your forehead looks 18 miles long. Like when suddenly I'll push my bangs back in like a bobby pin, and I'm like, holy shit, my head looks like the moon.
Last one. Hoops or studs?
Hoops.
Oh, sorry.
The bigger the hoe. I'm a hoop girl.
Yeah, I could never get into hoops. I'm starting to get into hoops. I'm working my way up to like a little bigger. I've got very small ones.
I've never seen you wear an earring.
What the fuck is this? But
Yeah, I feel like Emily, you wear like little pearls a lot. I associate you with the stud.
I'm very much.
Sure.
I'm working on my hoop game, but at the moment I'm still at stud level.
I have to go hoops.
You wear big.
I wear
big
big, obnoxious earrings on the daily.
I love it.
I'm a stud girl. I'd go studs.
Yes.
And that is everything.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining the pod. We always appreciate your presence. And if anybody has any ideas for chocolate or vanilla themes in the future, if you're like, oh, you know what would be a really great theme? I don't know, fill in the blank, I guess. Come up with your own shit and DM it to us, and maybe I'll relay it to Jen if it sparks joy, if it piques my interest, and maybe she will use your ideas in the future. So we always love your input, and if you play chocolate or vanilla, let us know. We love this shit. It's so fun. And yeah, keep your eye out on our Instagram this upcoming weekend. We'll post the chocolate or vanilla, so let us know your opinion on all of these questions as well.
All right.
Awesome.
I'll see you guys all later. I love
Bye,
you.
Jen.
Bye.
Bye, love you. Yeah, so getting back into Hairspray, we love chocolate or vanilla with Jen, but let's get to the real deal at hand, which is the 2007 amazing hit feature. Hairspray.
I forget that this movie came out before Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Fun, did you know this was like the highest grossing musical movie of all time before Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia.
Oh, okay. So up until this point, until 2007.
To be fair, I don't know how many
that really
movie musicals there were, really.
Okay. So I know Mamma Mia, I think we said it was like in the 600 million for what it grossed, but at the time, Hairspray grossed $203.5 million US dollars.
It definitely.
Wow, and do you know what the budget was?
$75 million.
That's amazing.
I was gonna, they definitely got.
I don't know if it was the highest grossing, because I mean I'm looking at Chicago here and it has 306.8
That's what IMDb
million.
said, so take it up with them.
That's fair.
They definitely pulled people in, though, getting Zac Efron on this film.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, and I know that it was because of High School Musical.
Yeah. Well, and he didn't even audition. They just gave him the role.
Yeah.
They were like, you need to come here, dye your hair black, and be just a little racist. And
they're like, your dick is gonna need to be hard. Like, we need your hard cock and your thrusting hips, Zac Efron, and it's gonna do it for us.
I remember he skipped the High School Musical. Like, they toured after the first movie came out to film this instead. And I think, who was it? Drew Seeley took a spot. Mm-hmm. But the crazy thing is, in the first High School Musical, he wasn't singing the whole thing.
Yeah. I was just about to say it, because they offered this to him. They're like, we saw you in High School Musical and you were so amazing. We'd like to offer you this role. But he did not do the singing in the first High School Musical. So he did. Like, were they not phoned in on this fact that he was lip syncing the whole time? Like, yeah, the boy can dance, but
he did some of the singing.
I think they,
to be fair,
meshed their voices together.
Yes, he did some of the singing, but Drew Seeley also did some of the singing, and they mixed both of their voice recordings together, and that's how you got all of the songs from
it makes me so sad
Troy in High School Musical.
For Drew Seeley.
Oh my god, he had that with another Cinderella story.
Okay,
he's fine.
Okay, but imagine how different his life would have been if he got to be Troy Bolton.
That's very true.
For the first 3 High School Music. The first, there's only 3, but anyways. I don't know where we're going.
I will say, Zac Efron did I'm glad that this was like his second big thing after High School Musical.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely like...
this was his second big thing ever.
That's true.
High School Musical was like the first thing he did.
Mm-hmm. But I think that... No, please.
Well, I will just say it really set him off to be a really big star, because I think he was kind of renowned in the industry from this point on as being like the titular, no, not titular, the like, you know, the hot male role. He was like, well, yeah, right. I'm trying my best. But like the like male love interest role going forward for like musical movies, because he did The Greatest Showman pretty recently after this, and I think like
Stop! Don't tell people that. It's embarrassing.
But I know, like, he does have that reputation of just, like, really great to work with, good at his job, executes the role efficiently. And I think that this really fortified after High School Musical, because that was, like, a Disney thing. Mm-hmm. So it's, like, any, you know, hot kid star can be, you know, a Disney person. But, like, this really solidified, like, he has the star power and the showbiz presence to get the job done.
For sure. I was really impressed with him in this. I was really impressed with everyone. I feel like we keep going back to that.
Yeah.
Not a single person is bad. Nobody did a bad job in this movie.
Mm-mm.
They understood the assignment.
Like, there is not a Pierce Brosnan in this movie. They got people that could actually sing. There is no Russell Crowe character. Everyone is able to belt.
Right, because even, like, the people like Amanda Bynes, who aren't necessarily, like, known for being singers, like, she doesn't really sing in a lot of her roles.
The raspy voice in her lines, again,
it's good. Yeah, like she doesn't really, that's not her, like, steez. That's not her, like, peak selling point as an actress, but she still pulls through, and she does it for this movie. I don't think, at no point was I bothered by anyone singing, which is a huge plus for a musical, because if I'm fucking annoyed by your voice and I have to hear you sing for 2 hours, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Like, the only person that I can't say anyone was bad. Like, I think people, if you had to point to someone, you could be like, oh, Christopher Walken, but it's like, no, he was doing his part. That was exactly what his part was. Like, he wasn't a bad singer. You know what I mean? Was he, like, would I say he was, like, the kid who was playing Seaweed? No. Because he's Christopher Walken.
No, he's a little clunky, but I think that really fit the character of, like, the, like, awkward joke shop dad kind of moment. Like, he wasn't supposed to be, like, phenomenal. I totally agree.
Exactly. It fit, and that's what... Everyone was in, like, the pocket in this movie, which made it just so much better.
Do you have a favorite performance? I know we've totally praised John Travolta, like, to the max up until this point, but do you have somebody in this movie who just, like, really does it for you?
Like, John Travolta's just really at the top of my fucking head.
But, like, okay, if we're placing him at, like, absolute number one, like, who's your number two?
I think I'd have to say, and I'm looking up his name right now. Hold on. I'd have to say...
Seaweed?
Yeah, Elijah Kelly is his name. I think he did excellent work. His vocal performance, and he was an outstanding dancer as well, and he really just fit the role super, super well as also. I will say, like, Amanda Bynes did it for me a lot, too, because her performance was just... She just knew exactly the character that she was supposed to be, you know what I mean? Like, we talked about how her line deliveries were just, like, that perfect, like, sidekick sort of delivery. But I definitely say Elijah Kelly stood out to me. And obviously Queen Latifah, too, because she's fucking Queen Latifah. I just want to hang out with her.
I have to give a shout out, though, to Nikki Blonsky, because...
This is the only thing
This is the only thing, like, she's ever been
in, right?
Like,
crazy.
Even when you look, well, because, especially when it's such a star-studded cast like that, and then at the bottom of the poster, it says, introducing Nikki Blonsky. She was born, she played Tracy in Hairspray, and then the world never heard from her again.
She knew what she had to do, and she did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I wonder what she's up to. Because I'd love to see her again on my screen, because she did amazing. I know she was in the live, like, Hairspray live version that they did in, like, 2016 or something, but, other than that, she really hasn't done much. I hope she's doing okay.
I know that
she's amazing.
All I know is that she does, like, cameos, you know, that app Cameo or whatever, where you can buy...
Oh my god.
I kind of want...
That'll be my Christmas present to you, is a cameo from Nikki Blonsky.
You never got me a birthday present, so you could do that.
I'm working on it.
Right, are you supposed to give your twin a birthday gift? Because it's also your birthday, so don't you kind of share it?
Yeah, we do. Alyssa waited until August to give me mine last year, so I figured it was only fair.
It just didn't come in. I ordered it. I did order it in, like, June, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And our birthday's in April.
I'll bring you to IKEA. You need stuff for your room. Alyssa's moved into my room recently.
Oh, nice. It is the bigger room with more windows. So.
You're embarrassing me.
Okay, but you're getting your master's degree. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. I lived in my parents' basement for like a year and a half, and it had no windows.
And
I think Henry and I both developed mild respiratory problems from that situation. So don't worry. No shame. No shame in living with your parents in your early 20s. Mm-hmm. It's just the move. But I gotta say, again, Nikki Blonsky as Tracy Turnblad, like, she was fucking born for this role. She turns it every time. Every moment she's on screen, she is the star. So, like, I cannot believe she hasn't been in other stuff other than this, because she just commands such star power. But I do want to give, like, an offhanded shout-out to fucking Allison Janney.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, my God.
Who plays Penny's mom, and she's in, like, a total of, maybe 2 minutes of screen time, but so she plays, like, this, like, crazy religious, like, ultra protective mother. She, like, ties Penny up to the bed at one point to make her, like, not go hang out with the rebellious kids. Also, it's so crazy. Her screen time is so little, yet she commands so much presence from this movie, and as she does with all of her roles, so I always forget she's in this. She's just amazing.
Another offhanded, like, horny part of this movie, I'm like, where did she learn to do those knots that she tied Penny up with?
So true. Where she just has that rope on hand. Yeah. She's like, I'm gonna tie you to the bed, BRB, just don't question it.
She was like, she definitely strikes me as, like, the born-again Christian kind of thing after she had, like, some crazy days in her 20s.
She joined a cult. Like, she was in a cult, like, and, like, things went south, and then she was like, okay, I gotta really restore my image.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that she's, a doomsday prepper.
Yes. Yeah, I love that.
Also, I will give a shout out to whoever the actress that plays Inez is, because she also steals the show.
Oh, so good.
Oh my god.
Her bangs too in Chocolate and Vanilla, the bangs versus no bangs. If you are team bangs, look at fucking Inez's little curly bangs and her pigtails, because they are cute as hell.
She has this one line in the song "Run and Tell That," And she just gets me going, dude. She keeps ramping it up and up and up.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like bouncing, I'm like rocking and rolling, you know?
They can barely pay their rent, I know.
It's like, speak up.
You do have a spirit money just can't buy.
No, she was iconic. I do really love the turn they took with her character and making her
No, yeah, Alyssa, you're so right. Like, this was like one of like pretty early in my life, the first like big plot twist that I was like, holy shit, I did not see that coming. What the hell? Yeah, when they make her Miss Hairspray, like that was so. Yeah, I remember being like, oh my god, who thought of that? So cool, so fresh, so fun.
The fact that it's her and John Travolta in that like number that are dancing together, I could not think of a better pairing.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Like, they both, like, are probably... I don't want to say that they're the best dancers in the film, but...
They might be, though.
They might be.
Considering their circumstances, they might be.
They hold their ground.
Okay, before we get into our, like, regularly segmented things, I would just want to question, like, how do we feel about James Marsden as an actor, as a group?
He's just... I don't know.
Oh.
I love him. No, I love him. He just... has this really, like, weird and particular set of movies that he's always in.
Yes.
Like Peter Rabbit and Enchanted.
Guy.
And then this.
Yes.
Then you see him in, did you guys watch the show Dead to Me?
Oh, he
absolutely,
was
yes.
And he was great.
He's everything to me. Yeah, I think he plays that guy every single time. And therefore, to me, all James Marsden works of cinema take place in the same universe, and he's the same guy.
I forgot he's in the Notebook.
And he just doesn't age. He's like a vampire who does not age, and he's just in everything. Because he's always that like kind of himbo energy, but has a little bit of like something about him that just gets me going. Westworld, if anybody out there has seen Westworld, his character in Westworld, fucking amazing. Just like that, literally just that same like himbo energy guy every time, and it's too good.
It's so funny because I'm on his like sort of IMDb thing right now, and all the TV shows are like, it's like Dead to Me and Westworld and the show Stand and 30 Rock, and then you go to his movies and it's Sonic the Hedgehog, Enchanted, 27 Dresses, Hop, Boss Baby.
But he was also, I forgot he was in The Notebook.
That he was good in that. I did enjoy him in that.
Yeah, he played the guy she left, right?
Absolutely
he always
wild.
gets the short end of the stick, I feel. By him as Corny Collins just makes sense. Like, I feel like whoever did the casting for this movie deserves... So I did look up, you asked about awards, and they were nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes, because the Golden Globes does count, they do comedy musical as a whole category.
Yeah.
And they included it in a bunch of nominees, but it didn't win anything. Yeah, and especially I do think for costuming and, like, I know casting isn't necessarily an award, but just, like, the cast of this movie is fucking crazy. But so if we want to, do we want to roll into just like our regular questions we ask? Because I think regularly, as we establish, fuck, marry, kill, we cannot consider anybody who is in high school, so it is only the established adults in the movie.
Which we still
I
have
know
a lot
Zac
to work
Efron
with.
was probably like 21 here, and I get that his hip thrusting made me feel some type of way, but I will not consider it. I will not think of it.
We're working with the characters themselves, not the actors.
And I don't know, like, if there's... So if we want to do, like, the parental figures first, if we want to do Edna... Who's Christopher Walken? What's his name?
Wilbur.
Yeah, Wilbur.
We're going to do Edna, Wilbur, and
Velma.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Velma.
Yeah.
Those are the
Excuse
three,
me.
like, main parental figures, I guess.
I think
if we
you're
wanna do
forgetting
fuck, marry,
someone.
kill.
Where the fuck is Motormouth Mabel?
True. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we can pick a specific three to do.
Well, those are...
maybe just the women then. Maybe just Edna, Mabel, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, that's a
whatever
good
her
one.
fucking name is again.
All right, so it's tough because Velma's one of those ones that I would fuck and kill.
Yeah.
But she's just too much. She's too much. I don't want to deal with her. She's
And
the
she
worst.
has an STI, as she established through an entire song.
It's true.
How did I miss that?
Miss Baltimore Crabs, bro.
So you
Sorry
have
about-
to
I mean,
kill.
take what you will from the
no, that's fair.
insinuation, but
Yeah.
also, isn't crabs just pubic lice? Can't you just shave it?
I don't know how that works.
Don't quote. Don't quote me on non-comprehensive sex education, but
I'm good. Yeah, no. So I'm gonna have to kill her. Is Michelle Pfeiffer hot? Yes, but it's never. No,
It's never gonna work.
never gonna work. Just off the table. I feel like I'm gonna take my typical stance here and say that Edna needs a good night. Edna needs a good time, and I'm willing to bring that to the table. Like, her and Wilbur's sex life has probably gotten a little bland at this point. So I'm gonna say, hey, Edna, what's going on, babe? How's it going? So I'll fuck Edna, and then I have to marry Motormouth Mabel. That's the only thing. Like, come on, I couldn't not. She's everything I want.
So I would do the opposite.
Okay.
I would. Well, obviously, Velma's got to go.
Yeah.
She's dead. Quick 1,
Yeah.
2. And I think I would marry Edna.
Okay.
And then fuck Motormouth Mabel. Mm-hmm. I don't really have.
Her name's Motormouth Mabel.
Exactly. It's gotta. Yeah.
You're bound to have a good time.
She's a little out of my league to marry, you know?
Okay.
But if she feels like slumming it for a night, maybe she would have.
Just be like, hey, sis.
I just love Edna. I have to marry her.
She's a sweet character. I like Edna. What
And
about
it's
you?
John Travolta.
Just something about you and John.
What's the TikTok sound? It's like, I love this man, and I have to have him.
What about you, Dara?
I gotta say that, like, honestly, the marriage between Edna and Wilbur seems pretty good. Like, they love each other a lot, but there maybe is a little spice lacking.
Exactly.
So perhaps I can add some spice, and I will fuck Edna, and I will marry, what's her name? Motormouth Mabel. I will marry Mabel because also I really like her kids.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
I'm not really down for someone with kids, but Mabel's kids in particular are pretty cool. So I will be their stepmom through and through. And then obviously I am killing Michelle Pfeiffer because fuck that racist bitch. Mm-hmm. And then do we want to do the whole movie? Who are we leaving out? Like, obviously I want to fuck and marry and maybe also kill Corny Collins. You know, all three. Corny Collins is my guy. I want booty shorts that say corny on one cheek and Collins on the other.
And I don't really want to do any of those three things to Wilbur.
I just want to get a drink with Wilbur.
I would like him to be my dad.
I want to go to his shop and I want to buy all the trains.
Yeah,
true. I want him to show me how they all work and like just see how happy he is like with his little shop.
I don't know, Allison Janney, also, like, religious extremist. I might kill that bitch, but it is Allison Janney, so she could persuade me in a second to not do it. I've
got mine figured out. So I'm gonna
for the whole movie.
Yeah, whole movie wise.
Oh.
I'm gonna fuck Corny Collins for obvious reasons.
Of course.
You know, kind of have to. I'm gonna stick with Motormouth Mabel to marry. I've already stated why. And I'm gonna kill the guy that employs Velma. He's like not the show manager, but the station manager almost.
Oh,
because he let everything go to shit, and he let Velma get all the power that she had. And I just feel like you gotta cut off like the serpent's head. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
You gotta pull out the roots.
This is
or
some
the
next
weeds.
level thinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Big brain over here.
Every once in a while. So I'm punching that in. That's who I'm killing.
I think I would just I have to marry and fuck Corny Collins.
That's fair.
I don't know if that's an
Well, if you
option.
marry him, you get to fuck him every night for the rest of your
exactly.
life if you choose
So
to
who
do
else
so.
would you
So
fuck?
fucking marry, we have discussed, is kind of an intertwined situation.
exactly.
But
Fucking kill is a very different
fuck is
thing.
yeah, you don't necessarily want to marry everyone you fuck, but you do want to fuck the person you marry. So it's just a rectangle square situation.
We've had a couple of I will fuck them and kill them.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett and I think Thor Ragnarok was one of them.
Kate Blanchett and Carol, I will kill Carol in a second.
So you're gonna fuck and marry Corny. You're gonna fuck him and then you guys are gonna start a relationship. And then
I don't know. Who's to say?
who are you gonna kill then?
Actually, it's hard because you only added like 2 more characters.
I think since the Ladybird episode, though.
No, you gotta think deep because there's more than you expect. There are the cops.
Didn't we say
I could kill
didn't we say since the Ladybird episode, because we opened it up to be able to kill Ladybird?
I was gonna say, can I kill someone underage?
Yeah,
I think we opened it up to where you could kill someone underage.
Yeah, although that's fucked to say, marrying and fucking is reserved to 18 plus, but killing, you can kill a child. So I don't know why you'd want to in this movie. I guess you could kill, what's her name?
Amber.
That bitch, but Amber, I suppose. Ugh. But maybe she'll learn.
I would
her
like to kill the whole
line.
group when they in the scene where they're in the classroom and Tracy's fully knocked out. and then she's
like, Tracy,
the teacher does not have breasts. Which, like, I guess I can't be that mad because then she went to detention.
Yeah.
But it just infuriates me. Maybe I'd kill that teacher.
The teachers were not seeing Tracy's vision. No. Not at all. They were not behind her. She knew she was going to be a star, and they said, "You're late, Tracy." Yeah. And all the other kids got to be late, but Tracy didn't get to be late.
I'll marry the bus driver that brought her to
the garbage man.
The garbage man.
So you're fucking James Marsden, killing the teachers and marrying the garbage man. Is that what I have? Am I right?
Seems pretty accurate to me.
I love that for you. What about you?
Love that. So my choices are, obviously I'm marrying the fuck out of Corny Collins. He is it. He is the top of the pyramid. No man will ever pale in comparison to what Corny Collins has to offer. And then I will fuck Queen Latifah. Obviously, she will do me right. And I will kill the teacher who sends Tracy to detention for her hair being too big. You cannot penalize a bitch for fashion.
You said it.
And so, what did you guys drink or eat with this movie, or what would you suggest?
We didn't eat anything that was too on brand for this movie. We just found some carbs, and we were like, okay, let's go. But we did make lemon drops.
Yes,
lemon drop martinis. Because we figured this is a movie, it very much screams like sweets to me, or to us.
Yes.
At first we thought like maybe a Dirty Shirley. But I feel like we've definitely like said Dirty Shirley a couple of times in this podcast. So we were like, okay, let's try and put a little variety in. And so we went for some lemon drop martinis, which were really good. Limoncello is just always a good time, if you ask me. And then, what did we say for food? Yeah, like I said, we had like some truffle fries and some cauliflower or whatever, but I think
I really wanted to eat chicken and waffles with this movie.
Yeah,
though.
Alyssa had a chicken and waffles craving.
I just feel like it would be, it was just fitting.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you.
I don't know why. Or, like, you could eat donuts, too, from
we did get donuts, but we did not eat them for the occasion. That was the plan, but it fell through. But I would say definitely, if you have a good donut shop around you, get a couple of donuts. Yeah. Why not?
We also...
Krispy Kreme type beat.
Yes, we did eat lollipops throughout the movie, too.
Yeah.
As Penny does.
Oh, that's so on brand, lollipops.
I will say, though, for my official recommendation for what you eat, I say if you're having a party and you're having people over, do a potluck. This movie is very, like, community-based sort of thing. And, like, I was sitting there and I was watching that scene where Mabel's got all the food spread out in her record shop and everything like that. And I was like, you know what? I bet, like, it was a potluck kind of style. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
She whips up that cornbread and she says, John Travolta, consider not being racist anymore. Here is some mac and cheese and collard greens. And he says, you know what, Queen Latifah, you do make a good point.
I think that it'd be a really good one for everyone brings their favorite dish. And you just have a good time. I say you do a potluck. No barriers on it. Nothing strictly like this style or that style. Just everyone brings what they feel like bringing, and you go with that, and you run with that. What about you, Dara? What do you have?
I love that. That's great. I don't remember. I think I was just drinking some sort of like Moscow Mule situation,
Classic.
Which is always the case for me.
That's our official drink, honestly.
While I was actually watching this movie in reality. But I do think that as far as drinks go, you think about like old-timey drinks and you think like martini, Manhattan, mint julep, yada, 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 classic-y, whatever. And I I don't fuck with that. So like the thing that maybe speaks to me is like a raspberry lime
Oh, that would have
Ricky
been
with
good.
your booze of choice. So, because this movie's pretty fruity to me, you know, it's colorful, it's boisterous. So you do a raspberry lime Ricky, you do, you know, the lime juice, raspberry seltzer or something of your situation, maybe like a flavored simple syrup. I don't know. Go about it as you will. But then you add, you know, vodka, rum, whatever your preference is. I think raspberry lime Ricky has enough boundaries that you can fuck with it to make it the way you like it. And also I think it will fit this movie very well. And additionally for food, I just like, you could do a fucking crawfish boil, like type, like southern, you know, Miss Baltimore crabs. We're gonna like lay a big piece of cardboard down on the table and we're all gonna like dig in and wear a bib and eat seafood, but that's just not practical, if I'm being honest. So you could do, I say you pare it down, down, you pare it down. What is the most accessible version of crab? Is the Rangoon.
Oh! I like that.
Crab rangoons.
All right, fair.
So Chinese food. This movie's very like sleepover to me. Very like fun. I don't know. Even like cookies, like we were talking about, like Oreos and chocolate chip, like very cookie movie to me. Just like sleepover, order Chinese food, eat junk food, get drunk, watch Hairspray. That's the vibe.
Definitely true. I feel that's like the most, definitely the most accessible form of crab. The next step up that I can think of is like soft shell crabs, and you'd still have to make those.
Or like dip, like crab dip or something. I don't know, like it's weird. A crab to me is very scary and odd, and the fact that soft shell crab, you eat the shell, fucking terrifies me. If anyone out there wants to give me some tips on like how to enjoy crab as a medium, please do, but like crabs fucking terrify me.
That's fair. I'm not the biggest fan. Like, I've had soft shell crabs before, but it's a little unnerving. I don't love when my food looks like it just popped out of the ocean. But that's just a personal problem.
And so, what would you follow this up with? What's your next movie pick? You're doing a double feature, Hairspray, and then...
I didn't think about this at all.
I
forgot we did this.
I fully have a list. There's 3 that stood out to me. And it depends on the vibe you're going for, obviously. But there was 2 with Zac Efron. I said you could, if you wanted to keep it going with like a common actor, you could follow it up with like something fun, like 17 again. Or
great choice.
Hairspray is so much that it's hard to find some energy that matches it. So I think you said in previous episodes, you have to do a 180 almost. And I said, watch
Schindler's List.
Close. I said, watch Zac Efron playing Ted Bundy in what's that movie? Extremely Shocking.
And I know.
The Ted Bundy movie.
The Extremely Hawking and Horribly Vile. Yeah, that movie is certainly interesting and certainly a spectacle to be seen after his performance as Link.
Or the third one I thought of, just because it kind of fits with the theme of them, not the theme of racism, but I said you could watch The Help after too.
Ooh, yeah, that like 1960s segregation era, like progressive film. Yeah, The Help is a good choice.
Minus the music.
I do stand by that.
I like that.
Yeah.
So my pick is you go for thematic. I love a thematic actor shift, as you did with Zac Efron, and I paired it again with John Travolta does drag to be a woman in this film. Who does drag to be a man in a film who was also in Hairspray, but Amanda Bynes, she's the man. She's the man. I think that's what you watch after this. It's peak Amanda Bynes. If you're a fan, as I am, and I think you guys are as well, it's so good. It's so fun. So like early 2000s vibes. She's the man. Amanda Bynes plays, she puts on makeup to be a boy situation. And I think that really fits with the John Travolta mom thing here. I think it ties it all together. And I think it is the perfect early 2000s vibe to fit with this movie. I say you watch She's the Man. I was thinking of other actors. I was like, Christopher Walken. Do you watch The Deer Hunter? No, too serious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like Zac Efron. There's so many people here you could play off of, but for me, it was Amanda Bynes.
All right. This is pretty off of just my Letterboxd watches right now.
This crossed my mind, though, so...
Okay. So, Hairspray is a horny movie that's supposed to not be horny, right? Sort of, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that you watch a movie that is in story supposed to be horny, but not horny at all. I think you watch Easy A. I think it's a really fun, very like light and easy watch. I think that it's got another like just stellar performance from a lead actress. Emma Stone is always fun. And also I think that one of my favorite parts of Hairspray is Edna and Wilbur. I think that their relationship is the best out of anyone's. And I also think that Stanley Tucci and Patricia Clarkson, I think that their marriage in this movie is also just a standout like parental role. So I'm gonna say Easy A. I think that's a really fun one. I think it's really light, and if you're having like a little sleepover kind of thing.
Amanda Bynes is in this too. I don't know if you knew.
Oh my god, yeah, and Amanda Bynes is in this. That's perfect. So I think this is
we love a connection.
This is my favorite. Also, there's Lisa Kudrow in this who was actually fucking a student in the storyline, similarly to our theory that Miss Baltimore Crab's Velma was...
I don't know. Yeah.
She just gives me that vibe. She'll cross a line. She does not care.
Yeah.
She fucked the judges.
True. And she must have been their age.
Exactly. So I think Easy A.
Yeah, it was the 60s. If you were divorced, you got executed on point. So that does make sense. I love that choice, though.
Thank you. It was a panic choice.
Especially, sticking with, like, the early 2000s vibes, I love for a movie. Like, anything made between 2000 and 2009 or 10, is such a specific vibe. I think especially to us, born in the, mid to late 90s, nostalgic type of connection that I have to every like bad movie made around 2005 just like really touches me.
What would you rate this?
I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. I think it is an amazing movie to musical to movie rendition. Like as far as remakes go, I think this really reinvigorated the franchise. As far as, like, gaining interest to people, I remember this was totally, like, a hot commodity in 2007 when it came out. People loved it. Like, you've said time and time again, the casting is fucking immaculate. I could not imagine anyone else in this movie playing any other role other than what they're in this movie. The costuming, the songs, everything, I think it's perfect. And I totally think it's slept on as far as movie musicals that we're doing. I think a lot of the other ones we're planning to cover are a lot more like at the forefront of when you think of movie musicals, and this one might not be up there, but totally worth considering. I just think it's brilliant. So yeah, 8 what did I say? 8 out of 10? Yeah, that's my rating. I stand by it. Really good shit. Makes me feel good inside. Warm and good inside. 10.
It was just one
Makes
of those
sense.
things like I think you gave Mamma Mia a 10
Yeah.
last week just because
of how much you enjoy
like
it.
a personal thing. Like,
yeah, it's not that the movie itself is like the best movie you've ever seen, but it's just one that hits home and you just love so much that like you can't give it any other score.
Like every time like in college if I was sad, I would just put it on my phone and immediately feel better.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. I think I'm going to sit with Dara on an 8 for this one. It is just such a standout musical, and I'm very nostalgic about it because I think this was one from our childhood that I remember a lot, and I remember seeing a lot. I'll still sit, like, whenever we go on a long car ride, we'll be like, oh my god, should we put on Hairspray?
We perform the whole thing.
Yeah, oh yeah. we've pretty much got our own show going.
Yeah.
If you ever want to find me in my 2003 Honda Civic belting Hairspray, you get a free show. But it's just one of those ones that's so good. And like you said, Dara, it's very much slept on. I think the fact that Mamma Mia came out the year following, that it definitely gets overshadowed by it. But I wouldn't say that it should. I think they're very much on par with each other. And I think they're both absolutely solid standalone musicals.
So thank you everyone to join for thanks for everyone for joining us this week for Hairspray 2007 edition. Thank you so much again to Alyssa for joining us, Emily's twin sister, getting some insightful twin brain power moments here. I couldn't imagine the deep internal intelligent connection you guys have. If you can speak to each other telepathically, don't tell me because I don't want to know. But anyone out there who has any suggestions for movies for the future, please let us know. Chocolate or vanilla suggestions, let us know. Literally any thoughts you might ever potentially have. Let us know. Merch especially. We recently commissioned some designs from a local artist we know to do for the swamp. So we're interested in putting those on t-shirts, sweatshirts, coffee mugs, whatever you guys want. So just, let us know what you think you might want. We don't really want to charge you guys like $20 per, t-shirt because that's kind of ridiculous, but just let us know like the sort of things that you are feeling, vibing with potentially. Also, please, for the love of God, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Swamp Pod, TikTok, The Swamp Podcast. Our website is theswamppodcast.com. All locations, you can interact with us there. Thank you, everyone. And Hairspray. If your hair is not, what is it? The higher your hair, the closer you are to God.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's a saying, I think, right? Yeah, the higher your hair, the closer you are to God. So if you are considering doing a big updo today, this is your sign to maybe do it. And goodbye and good night.